spotting your self-sabotage patterns before you repeat them. And I'm going to give you an actual exercise tonight to help you do this. If you have not yet registered, self-sabotage is killing your vibe. Sabotage, you keep sabotaging your success, which is the number one thing that we see. Sabotaging your goals. And this is not just about business, right? You might be sabotaging yourself in business or career or finances, but it could also be in health. It could be relationships, etc. We are running a full 1-day workshop on how to go from self-sabotage to success. If you have not registered, there is more than half, when I checked last night, more than half of the tickets that we have for free are gone. So just comment success below and myself or Sid will reach out, make sure that you get the link to get registered while there are still some free tickets left. If you are here, be like Thomas and be like Jennifer and let us know that you are here. If you're here watching the replay, also welcome, and comment #replay for us as well. So I'm going to give you guys a little poll to get us started here. Let's see here. So I'm going to give you guys a poll of, let's see how often you feel like you are sabotaging yourself. So go ahead and take that poll for us, if you can see it pop up there for you, and let us know what's coming up for you. All right. So, all right, my phone just went crazy. All right. So, how do we recognize? Can you guys give me a 1 in the comments if you can hear me okay? It's saying I've got a slow internet, and on my phone it looks like I'm talking at like 5,000 miles an hour. So I just want to make sure you can hear me. Put a 1 in the comments section if you can hear me okay. Because this is important. I want to make sure that you get it before. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So, in order to prevent self-sabotage from happening in the future, we need to go back in time. Okay? Now, like, Tiffany, there is no time travel machine. And that's okay. You don't need to time travel. What we want to look at is times in the past when you have sabotaged yourself before. So we want to look at, firstly, what areas of my life am I sabotaging myself in? And the easiest way to figure this out is to look at what areas have you been attempting to make change and nothing is really happening, and what areas of your life are stagnant. Okay? Now, personally, I like to break life into 6 major categories: physical health, mental health, relationships, finances, spiritual health. Now, spiritual health, people are like, I don't know what that means. If you are part of an organized religion, it could be that. If you are more spiritual, it could be that spiritual time. Like for me, it's time in nature, time, in meditation, journaling, also going to church, but I need that spiritual self-care time as well. It could be volunteering for a cause, something like that. And then the last section is career and business. So if you were to look at those 6 areas of your life and you had to, rate them on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate that area of your life? Okay? So what would you rate that area of each area of your life? And I would encourage you to go through and to do this exercise anyways, like to really just see where you're at. I like to do this every quarter, just kind of check in with myself on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being I need a ton of help, and 10 being I'm perfect in this area. Where do I fit? Where do I sit within each area of my life? Okay. And the ones that are lower, I would say below 6 and lower, there's probably some self sabotage going on. Now, you could have an area of your life where you would rate that area an 8 and still be self sabotaging. That's going to come in the second part, but in the second exercise I'm going to give you. But first off, we're going to start rating the 6 areas of our life on a scale of 1 to 10. Anything below 6, we're going to definitely look at what are the self sabotage patterns there. Okay? So, first piece, we got to see where we're at. As they say in business, you can't change something if you don't know the numbers, right? We don't know the measurements. And so I can't see how much my financial life has improved. You know, when I first started this exercise, like 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I rated my finances at 2. Now, my goals have changed since then, for sure. My, back then when I was making 60 grand a year, my goal was to get to 80 grand a year. And then it kind of went up from there. And so your goals will definitely change over time. And that might, I wouldn't necessarily rate my finances at a 2 right now, but in comparison to my goals back then, I'm like a 15 out of 10, right? Whereas my goals I have financially now, I would rate myself a 7 out of 10. So be aware of how you're moving the goalposts as well when you check back in on things. Let me just pull this down so you guys can still see me okay. All right. So just keep in mind that if the goalposts are always changing, you might stay ranking yourself at a lower level, but that's because you're moving the goalposts further and further away. Okay, so we want to celebrate. So you might want to write down, right now my financial goal is to make $5,000 a month. Okay, cool. And then when you get that, acknowledge it, celebrate it, because not acknowledging it, by the way, is a form of self-sabotage. And then when you move it to $10,000 a month, your rating out of 10 might stay at 5, but you've hit the last goal. Okay? So that's part number 1. We need to know where we're starting so that we can see our progress. Then in each of these areas, we're going to look at how do I commonly fall off the bandwagon, so to speak. So let's say you are working on losing weight. Or you're working on your mental health. Sid and I were having a conversation about this today as we were hiking with Chad. We had this conversation where oftentimes when it comes to mental health, people will do the exercises that we give them in the 7-day nervous system reset. And then as soon as they start feeling better, they're like, oh, I can take my foot off the gas now. Right? And so that's a self-sabotage pattern. I do an activity, I go to the gym, I eat well, I meditate, I journal, I do my breathing exercises, whatever, until I start noticing progress. I start losing weight, I start feeling better. Maybe I move 10% of everything that comes in every month into savings. And then when you hit a certain number in your bank account, you're like, oh, well, I've been doing this consistently for 5 weeks now, so it's okay if I don't do it this week. And then that becomes the pattern. So, and I'm not super proud to admit this, but when I lived in Australia, there was a period of time where I got into a habit where I would come home, I would order Uber Eats, and I would get like a small tub of Rolo or cookie dough ice cream from Ben & Jerry's, and I would have it delivered to my door, and then I would just sit and eat it while watching Netflix, and I wouldn't even realize, like I was so not present in the moment that I wouldn't realize that I'd gone through a full tub of ice cream until the spoon hit the bottom, and I was like, oh man. And I was doing this anywhere between 2, 3, or 4 times a week. And so when I realized while I was putting on weight, my clothes started to get a little bit tight, right? I was like, okay, I need to lose weight. Like, what is the pattern that I'm repeating here? How am I sabotaging my health? Oh, well, I'm eating like 3 tubs of ice cream a week. That'll do it, right? What is causing me to eat the ice cream? What is the trigger that comes just before that? And this is what I want you guys to look for, because understanding the pattern is one thing, but knowing the trigger that causes the pattern to happen is another thing. So is it, I've noticed that my clothes are feeling looser. I don't have to keep going to the gym as much. It's okay if I take a day off. Oh, I noticed that my anxiety is dramatically lower. Like, that thought could be the thing that triggers the self-sabotage pattern. Back like 4 or 5 years ago, when Sid and I really first started dating, we were both stuck in stress addiction. And so we would have like these really intense arguments that would like waste a whole day or two of our life. We would just argue and fight the whole day. And I remember the pattern. I was like, why does this keep happening? And I realized that I had a pattern of, and I'm not sure what was going on from Sid's end on this, but from my end, we would go like 2 or 3 months where we would be having fun and we would be getting along and everything was good. And I would think, oh, we haven't fought in a while. And then all of a sudden, like within a week, we were in one of these massive arguments again. And so for me, I was like, okay, noticing that thought is part of the trigger where I don't necessarily consciously go and look to start the argument, but it's happening. So when I have that thought, when I have that awareness of like, oh, we haven't argued in a while, I'm going to make sure that I double down on my nervous system regulation work, that I double down on these other tools that I have so that my stress addiction doesn't kick in and want to start another fight. Okay, so that's the exercise that you are going to do, is you are first going to rate each area in your life out of 10. Anything below 6 or below, you are going to look at for sure for signs of self-sabotage. The other areas, you're absolutely welcome to look and see what you might be doing to sabotage yourself in those areas that are holding you back from being a 10. And then the second piece is we're going to look at what is the pattern and what is the trigger. So what do I typically think, feel, or do just before that pattern kicks off? And now you know when you hit that trigger, now that we have the awareness of the trigger, we can start making different choices going forward.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Cycle Breakers. This channel is dedicated to giving you the tools that you need to clear out the blocks holding you back so you can live the life that you desire. Now, before you go, as our special gift to you, we have our 7-day nervous system reset. These are the exact exercises that I give all of our clients in every single one of our programs to help them regulate their nervous system, to make that inner work and clearing out those mental blocks so much easier. The best part, it's absolutely free. Just click on the link in the description below and you'll get instant access.